Welcome to the Hampshire 1900 start for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic, and we're picking up on the 7th of August 1967, which is only a couple of months on from the end of the last part, simply because I want to do some more planning in this part. But before that, I just want, as usual, say a big thank you for your comments and feedback. You guys give me a lot to think about. Also, I got a little bit of a disappointment in this area that we're not going to be able to populate Leamington until 1968. The reason for that is that I made a bit of an oversight up here, and I realized that I haven't got the water tower operational. That means that there's no point bringing any population in because they won't survive the winter without water. It would just be wasting the 1700 adults that we've got in here at the moment. Got a new vehicle type now. I'm quite interested in that. Let me just see what that actually is, and then we'll get back to the update. And there's quite a lot to update, but always got lots of tourists. What was it? Snowplow. If we search by, it's 28 kilometers at the moment. I don't think it meets the CAS 256 though, does it? Oh, this one's got a plough. This is the CAS 285 snow. It's only 60 kilometers an hour, but that doesn't make any difference. Let me just check to see snow ploughs. Nope. Just make sure. Yeah, I think what we're going to do is, again, we'll just sort by. I actually quite like that. At the moment we're using the GZ, which is this one here, which is 21 kilometers an hour. The trouble is that these are horrendously expensive for 55 kilometers an hour. This is 28. I think what we can do, I think we will use these. We've got 21 million. But what I will do is we're just going to shoot up to here. And let's see how much it's going to cost me to buy a template. Snowplow. What was it? The CAS, where it is. Okay, I'll just do it this way. 1.4 million. I think this would be a very good investment. So we're going to get that there. We're going to change this here. Again, just put the workshop on. Start production. And then what we will do is get these guys, snow plows, and we will, I think this is stop production. I think we got these on some kind of infinite. You can go down to here. What we'll do is we'll start pushing out the snow plows, or enough to get going. I have to keep an eye on it, and we'll do exactly the same up here, and that will allow us to save some money. Yep. So we'll just finish those vehicles and then get back to what we're doing. Anyway, back to the update. As I said, Leamington's going to have to wait to 1968. I have made a decision here, turn this into a ground crew. I realised I made a bit of a mistake here and planned this as wooden track, and I don't want this as wooden track. We want good quality track here. So I've got told the crew to get down here and start pushing out this way, and at the same time I want we are now pushing out with this line here, and you can see it will take us all the way, virtually all the way up to here, because this is going to be quite an important line that we need to get working. And that gets us to Southampton. Southampton is a little bit quiet. We you can see we are producing a little bit of hazardous waste now, and hopefully that will mean that this area up here is now become kind of quasi-redundant. But what I want to do is just make sure who's the burning pit there. Where are you? Okay, you're there. You're dump with claw. I think I don't really want to send you all the way down to there, so I think what we will do is tell this guy to there and remove the burning pit. You are Southampton transfer here. You now can drop off the hazardous waste there. Yeah, this is unexpected. So where's the waste burning pit? Remove you as well. Rail supplies, what are you? Oh, you're just picking up. Oh no, where are you? Okay, I'm not exactly sure what you're doing, but I think for the short term, until I rationalize my waste here, we'll put you there. Remove you from the waste burning pit as well. And I think we can now remove the fuel from there as well. And what we will do is just make sure this guy is delivering the waste. So we're going to put you there. And we're going to remove you from there as well. And remove the fuel pump. What I will do is rename this Basingstoke. Gonna get my hazardous drop there, and we will rename you. I'm going to try and remember to put an R in mixed pickup. Oops. Up to my Basingstoke there. Anyway, back to the update. Again, apologies. Here, things are going okay. They're fairly settled. We're on August. We've got a full load of crops in there, and our harvest is going quite well there. I think we went into this harvest with these virtually full as well. So I'm going to need to work on actually improving our area here. I was looking at this road system and wondering whether it's time to start thinking about actually upgrading these. These trucks eventually, once we know that we don't have a problem with the hazardous waste, will have to be we'll probably get rid of them or something like that. But beyond that, at the moment, Eastleigh's just waiting. The focus is on Southampton, and what we're really waiting for now is for the track to be laid into this area. Now, moving in the direction of Warstock, as I've mentioned previously, the road is operational. We are upgrading this track, which is going to get us out as far as Swanwick here. And also, I'm working on this little bit of an upgrade here. The problem we've got here at the moment is workforce. So we do need that. So far I've got away with the track upgrade, but it's bound to have a few problems eventually. You can see we got the question mark here, which says that it's not 100% happy with what it's actually doing. There we got a signal there. Okay. So it will get there eventually. The rest of Woolstock is settled as, and I think in many ways it's in its final form now. We will be improving a few bits and pieces. Up here we've now got some hazardous waste being dumped up here as well, but we got no way of getting it out. Have I got waste trucks in here? Let me just see. I wonder if I add you to here. I mean, this is, oops, hazardous waste 20%. There. Not exactly sure where all this hazardous waste is coming from, but we'll get that going there. Let me just let the game run at a bit of speed. And I mean, eventually I'm going to have to sort out these distribution offices as well. You're moving steel, you're moving fertilizer, you're prefabs, alcohol. I think what I might do here is we've got 20 million, so this is coal, isn't it? Let me just make sure the map's getting. Why is that not telling me? Game seems to be misleading me. Oh, one way we can find out. Yeah, you've got coal. It's just that you're not storing any coal. And oh, sorry. For some reason this was closed. Okay, so we're looking good. I think one of the trains is just coming back and it's not doing anything. Let me just check. Alcohol. Yeah, we've got a spare train here. And you're off to deliver fuel. Okay, so we don't really need to buy a train here. Let me just... Actually, did I check to see whether there's any... Okay, there's no finished vehicles here. So, Woolstock's okay. We'll go down to Southampton. What we got here now is... We're actually scrapping our first ship here. You can see we're getting a lot of mixed waste here. I wonder if I didn't... Oh, okay. Bit of a mistake there. Sorry about that, guys. That's why we got a big pile of mixed waste here flowing out into here. I think it could be being pushed in by this way as well, because of this thing. So I'm gonna set that way. Yeah, I forgot to set this. It's very important to set this to make sure that you get the maximum from what you're actually producing. But we're okay. We can sort this out. It's not a problem. It's not like we're going to be scrapping vast quantities of ship. We do need to expand out this way a bit more over time, but at the moment I think we've got a big enough workforce in here to be... Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to push many more people into here just yet. I don't know what the unemployment situation is. Now, we've got plenty of people. I think at the moment the problem is moving them because we don't have enough trams, but it's not really a big problem. We can add more trams later on. Anyway, let's just get up to missing resource coal. Where's that? Oh, that's just my... this here complaining because this isn't built. And that is a good segue into what I've been doing since the end of the last video. I'm just going to slow the game down a bit because I don't want to get into the snow. Resource missing, metal scrap. Yep. Aha. You're being very helpful, game, but I'm not. There's probably not that much metal scrap coming from there, but that's all right. We can do things with that. So since the end of the last part, and I've kind of worked out the rail system up here, and this and you can see here this has got a little bit complicated, but before we do that, I just want to talk about a decision I've made, and this is the title of the video, which is the use of long trains. Now, I'm going to be completely upfront. I'm not the world's greatest fan of long trains, and if you're not sure what I mean by a long train, it comes down to the fact that a standard distribution office or rail distribution office here has a maximum station length of 155 meters. Now, technically, you could go longer, but the trouble is that it slows up the trains being built. So that means that your normal average train operating on the line is up to 155 meters. But personally, I tend to operate slightly shorter than that. We come into here, this is 150. But quite often I will reduce this to 125. In fact, I think I will reduce this to, actually we'll reduce it to 130. The reason for that is that by having a standardized length in my rail distribution offices, that means that when I'm planning these tracks through here, I can plan the distances between signals. So for example, here, I come in here, you can see that this is 139 between signals. This one's a little bit less. You can bend the rules a little bit. But when you're planning track, you decide on the length of what your standard trains are going to be. The downside of that, when it comes to moving large, heavy goods like aggregates, that means that even if you've got a train that, say, can hold 10 wagons of 50 tons, that means you're only shifting 500 tons. But there is a mechanic in the game that says you can use long trains. Now, long trains technically can be any length whatsoever, but of course building them up in a depot, because these can't really run from distribution offices. They have to run from as manual trains, but they are good for moving aggregates. But the thing is that you want to keep them away from your main lines. And then what I've decided to do is we're going to use long trains to bring aggregates down from here. So for example here, if I show you the measurement on this section track here, you can see I've created a kind of a Y junction here with 252 meters, because what I want to do is when we've got finally get our iron industry running up here, we're going to use long trains to bring the iron down into the steel mill, and it will be dropped off here when it's built. So we'll have a long train coming in here, and because long trains will be running on a manual drop-off rather than a distribution office, what I've done is I've produced a kind of shunting area here with possibly another option to do. Let me just see how long this is, because see, this is 295. So I think I'll do it actually. I've seen I've already gone so far overboard with this. What we can do is do that and put another one in there. What that means is that we can queue up, at least have 3 trains here waiting to unload the iron into the steel mill at any one time if we needed it. So we'll do that. But what you can see here is I've kind of put this into a separate track system. And then because I've got a pickup here for steel, which was, I did consider going out the other way, but it seemed a bit overkill. I've put a cross link in here to come down to this massive array of track here. And what I've got here is we've got this here, which is going to pick up the mech components. We've got the second steel pickup here, No, this is, sorry, I'm confusing myself. This is a coal drop-off point, which is to bring supplementary coal in should I need it using a distribution office. The primary supply of coal is going to be this conveyor belt system here, because what we would probably most likely do is bring coal in by ship and have a ship here filling up this this aggregate store here, and then it will be shipped up here. And to begin with, I've also got the iron store here, and I've used a trick that you can do within the game, which is to use a common conveyor to bring the coal and iron up to here, and it will flow round here and into here, and then we'll also have a conveyor from here for any supplementary coal that we need can be brought in by this way. The next line here is all the mech components going out produced by these two mech factories. This one, and then what we got here, as I already mentioned, this is the iron input, this is the other steel input. Then I realized that this area here is going to produce a vast amount of waste, mainly waste, some metal scrap, which will come from here. So what I've done here and here is put in a mixed waste pickup. This will be a mixed waste pickup when it's finished, and then we're going to have a dump for the for construction waste, because there is a little bit of construction waste produced by the steel mills, not much, and then also for metallic waste, which will also come out of the mech factories and a little bit from the steel mill. So, and then what we're going to have here is our waste collection. And the reason I didn't show this as part of a video is, well, I did start to record it, but with all the and ahhing and changing my mind and doing other things, this took nearly 2 hours to actually finish. This might speed the game up a bit, actually. Yeah, this took nearly 2 hours of planning, especially with respect to this very, very complex step junction here. And so, and also getting this, deciding which way the link would come in from here. Now, one thing I have provisionally planned, I emphasize the word provisionally, is I've put a rail distribution office here, and I've put a transformer here, which is a high voltage transformer, which is going to feed off of this terminal here. The reason for that is that our moment for our electrified track, our only input is this one here, but this doesn't have a lot of input. So what I've done is I've used a, if I can find it again, I could use the mod to put in a high tension connection here, and this is a 6 megawatt connection. And what this will do is we'll run the electric track up to here. Now I haven't planned it, because what I'm going to do is actually delete this crossover so that we get a clean junction here, but I can't really delete this at the moment until we've actually got some track laid in here, which will allow the train to operate. Although, to be honest, I've just had another thought. There's a train operating on here. Where are you? No, you're actually still working on that. That's good. I think what we will do, because we've got a vast amount of track to lay here, I'm going to remove you. Oh, it's a signal. Okay, that's fair enough. What I'm going to do is we're going to put in a wood crossover there. We'll get, what we'll do is we'll build the track into here with the crossover, and once that is actually being built, what I will do then is actually remove this, and then we can build all this inside using this crossover, including this, with a bit of careful planning, which means we can then open this line up a bit more for use, and though we will keep this one as a provisional. The problem I've got here at the moment is shortage of workforce, but I think eventually once we get to Fareham, what I might do is move the rail construction office, but we would have to build the necessary infrastructure for this. Right, because this is going quite well, I just want to see if this will actually finish this bit here. Because this is a very key part of what we're trying to do. Come on guys, you can do it. And you're going to go straight on to this bit here. Right, just going to let this guy build this bit and see if we can get it finished. And then that means I can plan the next bit of the upgrade. So here we are, we're just about to finish it. And you can see that I just want to see if he can get back to where he can go. Yeah, he was uncertain about whether he could get to where he needed to go, but what we need to do now is do that. But what I'd like to do is remove this little bit there. And what he will do is he's going to cause a bit of mayhem here, so we're going to put a little bit of short track there, and I'm going to bump the priority on that, and then we will, oops, thank you Gabe, here, let me just get into here. And if we can get this bit built done, that will give us a connecting line. If I show you the signals, this will give us an up line here, which means I could then move over a little bit and start working on this proper up line here, which the trains will be using. Anyway, I've probably done a very long introduction here, but I wanted to make sure you had a complete update, because in this part what I want to do is start thinking about Fareham over here. But oh yeah, the other thing I want to show you is that we have started the tunnel here, but we got some resources on site, but I think this is going to take a very long time. You can see we've got 24,900 odd workers here, because what they're actually doing is using this very small amount to do the tunneling. So this is going to be very much a long-term project here. Okay, it's gone dark. Thank you, game. So what we're going to do here is I've already made the decision we're going to use trains to bring the actual track down into this area. And what I'm thinking is that we're going to run a dedicated passenger line out down to about here. I'm not sure I want to run it as far as Gosport though, but we got the main road there, so I want enough space so that I can do what I need to do in this area. But the question I've kind of thought about is whether to bring track, because what we're going to need to do is put the various support structures for the rails down here. So what I'm going to do is how much workforce are we going to need for our steel mill? I mean, we're going to need 1,500, 3,000. We got 2 steel mills. That doubles it to 6,000, doesn't it? So we got to get 1,000 workers up here, plus the workers for the support services like the fire station. Also, we're going to have 2 mech factories here, which is going to be here, which is another 150. So we really need a big station here. I think what we'll do is, how flat's the land here? Not the flattest of land, is it? What I'm going to do is we're going to have a really, what's the biggest passenger station that we've got. 500, 900, 800 workers. We got this thing. I remember using this in my what we call it. My instinct is to use this, but we'll angle it very. Okay, we can't use a free excavator. Okay, we're gonna have to come off like that. Got train waiting too long. Where are you? What are you waiting for? Okay, yeah, wasn't a problem. Haha. This is the reason why I've got to check every single time when this says train waiting too long, because he will collide with the trains coming in here. So if we, where's Fareham again? Sorry. If we got a track there, station there, we want to run out this way, which means we've got, is this just too big? Let me just see again. We're going to think about this. That's 800 workers. Let me just see. I'm doubting myself now, which is not good. 2005 capacity. No, I think this is too big. I think if we go with 800, because this is the number of people who can wait in the station, and this is going to be a dedicated station for the workers. So I think we've got 900 here. I think that's going to be slightly better. Right, so what I'm going to do is we're going to angle you in the right direction. Put you about there. That means you need that road connection to there. And connect that. Now, what we're going to need is a track. We'll use concrete based here. Now, we are going to use train sets. So we don't really need a long bit, but something that has a cut. So we're probably going to have to put a junction there. We're going to run you up right along the edge of the track like that. There, and then we're gonna how are we gonna get across here to get up to there? We got this line here. We might be able to get under there, but if we get under here, then we can get under there. So you can run. Eventually we will electrify this. So you can run to there. The trouble is we've got to get up over this area thing here. So I can trim you back. Get you as close to, because I don't want the track actually being impinged. So we get you there. Okay, here we go. Don't do that. I tend to go for this one because it's a neater bridge. So yep. And then you're going to have to come down off, pointing roughly in the right direction. Oops. But be generous with the slope, because we want this to connect up like that. And we're going to come this way. So that gives us a connection there. That gives us the ability to send the workers up to here. Now we've got to put in an end station so that we can control the spacing of the trains that go up that way. Now the end station has to be on the inbound side, which would be with left-hand drive is on this side. Let me just remove that. I think I'm going to make an executive decision here, in the sense that what we will do is, where's the end station? It's under depots, isn't it? Train depot, metro, railway end station there. So I could put that in line, but I don't really like that for two reasons. One is I don't want the end station affecting the outbound trains. I only want it to affect the ones coming into the station. Plus the fact is we've got to build the track. Actually, if I push you up to, actually we push you to about there, like that. Yeah, we're going to go right-hand drive. I know it's a bit icky, but we got space here, so we can do that. Oops, don't want that. Now, we are going to put down a coal-fired power station that way, which is going to be supplied with a workforce from Gosport, because what I'm thinking, maybe it's we need to plan this a bit. Let me just see. We've got a space for how many coal mines here? Let me just see if we can plan that in. A wood pitch extractor. Okay, we got two coal mines there. That's going to be quite a long. Put you there. Yes, these are good sources. 73% there, and you're 58. You're 55. Yeah. Okay, you need to be leveled. I want this is a dedicated line. This is going to come there. Actually, Fareham could supply. Fareham's probably the closer of the two, isn't it? So we could put two stations in here over time. But that then gives the dilemma of what do we do? We've got to get a kind of track connection for the purposes of building the track. This has got a connection there. Actually, I've just had a thought. If we need the ability for to lay this track, because it's a self-contained unit. Okay, this is we've got got this crossover there. Okay, I think I can do it. We don't need anything really elaborate here. We got this crossover here. We got this kind of bit of free space here. Yeah, I think what we can do is I'm just going to remove these signals here, or this signal here. We're going to come off like that and that. Then we're just, what's that there? This is built, isn't it? Let me just check. Yeah, it's built to there, so this signal, you don't need that. Is there train signals here? That. Do we have a problem here? Oh, you annoying. Okay, I'm gonna have to put signal there. No, I have to put a mixed signal there. This can definitely run up to there. So yeah, glad I spotted it. That could be a really big problem. Absolute high priority. Yeah, that's the type of thing that can completely sink a whole game, because if I'd prepared all the track and not noticed that, it would have caused a major problem later on. In fact, it could have disrupted the whole process. So let me just, that's the vehicle repair station. What am I doing? Let me just get here. I get back out over here. Where are you? Where's that little bit of track? Can't see it. It's just there, isn't it? There it is. Just there. Right, back to what I was planning. We've got this section here. We're going to come off here. Now, this is purely for construction purposes. It's also going to provide the power link to this electric railway, because this needs to be linked into the overall system. And what we're going to need is, this is, we're going to, and of course it's got to be electrified whether I like it or not, because we're going to have to bring in the actual trains themselves as well. Let me just do this like that. I think we can get away with just running this track like that. Let me just see. Actually, what I can do is do this. That will reduce the complexity. Let me just remove you for the moment. This can come in, because the only trains that are going to come in here are the train sets. So what we will do is that is going to be the construction link. let's make sure. So this is going to be the construction link. Now what we need is a depot. So the construction train can come into here. But we will need, if we're going to send, actually, yeah, what we'll do is I'll put that track back in. Let me just get rid of you. Do something like that. That means we only have the one. And what that will mean is that the trains can come in on this side and then they can change to the right side and then they can come down into here. And then what we will do is we've got the connector there. And then I think what we're going to need a depot to store the train sets in. Also, we're probably going to need them to set the lines up. Although we could do it direct long distance from there, but I'll be far more comfortable because we've also got to maintain these as well. So I think what I will do is we'll put you about there. Yeah, I think we're going to have the town on this side somehow. We may have to get a little bit creative with respect to the terrain here, but that's okay. We can actually, I just thought, how flat is the area here? Not that flat. I think we're basically going to be building along this coastal edge, although this is a little bit, it's not brilliant. No, I think we can get some fairly high density building here. We could do a little bit of leveling here as well. Take off the tops of some of these hills to create a little bit of a tableland here. And of course, because we're in the modern age now, we can use some fairly high intensity building blocks as well. So accommodation. So I think we'll run you around like that into there. And what we'll do is run you off like that. Like that. And you can come there like that. What this will mean is that what we've got now is we've got our line with the ability to deliver up to there. We've got a depot there. We can put accommodation there, and then we're going to need to bring another rail line in because we're going to have to supply food supplies to Fareham and Gosport. We're also going to need to think about what we're going to do about the coal here. My instinct is that because we've got two good coal mines here, we're probably going to put a shipping yard there, but at the same time we're going to need to be able to move the coal into this area because we're going to need a heating plant. So we can bring coal from over there anyway. Right, so I don't have much left on this video at the moment, so I think what we're going to do is it's going to make life a little bit tricky, but I think what we can do just to finish this video off is we can plan the town centre, and I think we're going to put the town centre around here simply because I think it would work, and then we could put accommodation here. Possibly we could put yeah, I think we can make it work. Let me just plan some accommodation on this side here. Let me just see what we're looking for now. We're going to go modern. This is 85%. I could use my favorite buildings. I mean, these are 231. They got quite a low footprint. We could put a couple of these in. That could be a possible option. I mean, it's going to be a worker community, so I think what we'll do is I'm going to plan a couple of large blocks here like this. I don't want too many, because if you concentrate too many, they can cause problems. So we put in that's say 400, so that's 4, 8, 16, 2,000 workers in that area there. This area here can provide the utilities, and if necessary we can put a small shop in as well. Yeah, I think we can make that. Actually, I could probably put another one just there. No, I don't like that. No, I think we're going to 400. That concentration of workers is going to give me problems, which I had in my previous series. I think what we are going to do is scale that back a bit and see what else we've got here in the way of buildings. What's the game ones here? 145 workers, 180, 220. These are the ones in here. What's the quality of life here? 85%, 84%. Yeah, I think if we put that in there, we'll use the in-game ones, something like that. Then we can, I know it's a subtle difference, but I think it will kind of be a bit more in keeping with what we're trying to do. And I think if we get one there, another one there, actually I just thought I'm just going to delete you. I'll leave that road there. In strictly speaking, this doesn't have to be next to the train station. We could get a bit more space, primary land here. What I could do is, if we double back the actual depot, that's gonna, now let me just remove this. I'm kind of using up valuable space. Let me just redesign this. You come that way, curve back that way, come back like that. Actually, we don't need that. Now if I put the depot back alongside like this, this will kind of make the end connection and the depot one and the same. So that could come there. This can come here. As you might guess, I can get a little bit extravagant sometimes when I'm planning these rail lines. I can get a little bit, the way I look at it is it's worth spending the money to get what you're looking for. And then I want this as one integrated junction, so like that, and that can come into there. Yeah, I think that makes it, I mean, this loop here is a little bit extravagant, but that's okay. As I say, we're only ever going to use train sets here, and what that will mean is that that will then free up this area, and we can go back to, if I just want to let me just hook you to there. Oh, no, cancel. Don't want the, just going to put a gravel. It's going to hook in a gravel footpath there. And then what we can do is, this is going to be a big town, so we're going to need a big shopping centre. My instinct is to use this one again. We'll put it on this side. Yeah, so if we put this here, I'm going to complain, yeah, okay. Yeah, so this junction here is skew width, but I want it to line up exactly. Okay, it's not really lining up. Not that happy with that. Why is that offset? That's not... Okay, I think what I'm going to do is, I'm not happy with that at all. Don't like it. I'm going to get that demolished. Actually, we're going to demolish you, and we're going to redo that junction. I don't like it. Get you guys to come and remove that junction. And what we're going to do is put the crossroads in here. And what we'll do is I'll get the guys to demolish that area there. We'll redo this junction. We're going to have the town centre here. That should feed into this area. It will also feed into this area. And then we can build up our overall town in this area. Anyway, guys, this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. What I will do is play through to the beginning of 1968, because hopefully by then we will get what the what we call it, Livington ready to be populated. This has got to be our priority, because I need to get the fire coverage. I need to grow the town so that eventually when we've got the underground or the metro built, we should be able to get that to flow. But until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.